Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is episode 97 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration. And today is the day. We have already launched several ships within the same launch window to Duna, and finally it is the time to launch the Interplanetary Ship 1 Kolonizer to Duna. We have all the passengers, we have the fuel, everything is prepared, everything is strutted, so it is time that we set up a maneuver node and execute it in order to and burn it to get to Duna. So I'm playing this mostly in 3-4 times acceleration, so because, well, frame rate, and so it doesn't get too stale and boring. So aligning our ship, as you can see, it has a metric crap ton of RCS thrusters, because each ship needed to be balanced with RCS on its own, and I still do want this one to be pretty nimble so that it can turn, because it has to execute the maneuvers, the burns and all that. So I mean, it doesn't make sense that it turns like a freaking aircraft carrier now, does it? So with that in mind, we are coming up on the maneuver node. It's 4 minutes and 40 seconds roughly. I'm just rolling to make for a nicer screenshot when we will actually be burning. Do some final alignments, doing a test burn to see. It would be 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I think it will be a little bit more because honestly I don't have my Delta V display, but I think we might be a little bit short on the fuel for the big ship. So, kicking the gas and time for some pretty screenshots. Yes. So, a total of 6 Kerbals, Varuk, Mike J, Moomin, I think Kusha, Phoenix, and a couple more will be for sure going to Duna. Some of them will even return. Well, I'm hoping all of them eventually, but yes. So yeah, here you can enjoy a nice burn. I really like the look of it. I mean, this ship is so far probably one of the most complex things I have built to date. And I like the design and look of it. It looks really cool, and even more, which for me is very important, it has a purpose. Every single component has at least one, some of them even have multiple purpose. So, just enjoying this from different angles. I must say, other than that, it has very nice thrust-to-weight ratio. I believe when it worked, I believe the thrust-to-weight was 0.8 when these are combined, and 0.2 now that this big engine gave out. Yeah, I could have designed it a little bit better so I don't need to drag this tail section, but my rovers are here. So yeah, it's a design thing that I might needed to consider, but what can you do? It's still not that much of a burn. We have another 160 meters per second to successfully eject ourselves to Duna, so I don't think it's a big deal. So let's continue burning. 100 meters per second. Slowly but surely we're getting there. Now we're at 50 meters per second. And the good thing about this that I'm burning with the nukes, they are pretty slow. They don't have that much thrust to weight, which means I can actually do some fine adjustments when it comes to the orbit. Okay, it's a near miss, and I'm trying to see if I can align these two markers to come a little bit closer if possible. I'm trying to keep things highlighted, but sometimes they just elude me. So, okay, and 190. Come on, 274 days. A little bit too much. I think now it's dragging away. No, No, it's still coming closer. Okay. Closest approach 95, 94, 93. Oh, and 106. Okay, I might have overcooked this one a little bit. Well, I'm thrusting at least to try and figure out what is the best approach. In hindsight, guys, I think I will rather do some corrections once we actually leave the Kerbin's SOI. So, time for some more cool screenshots. Our Kerbals take one final look at Kerbin, which is probably the final look when they will see it for another year. So it will take some time until we get back. Yeah, so it will take definitely some time. Okay, that thing in mind, let us slowly go and take off. What a beautiful sight. This is a beautiful, beautiful sight. Okay, accelerating the time until we get out of the Kerbin sphere of influence, or at least come close to it before we start to do transfers. We can see the spaceships on exit. Okay, then we have the Carbonite scanner. Come on, we need just to transcend the Kerbin sphere of influence and make sure that you have an encounter with Duna. I'm really extra careful because it seems that some of my transfers got screwed up just because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, and we have Duna periapsis. Well, that was all I was hoping for anyway. Cool. So let us just set up another maneuver node in 204 days. I just want to make sure that I get woken up, basically. Okay, then we have our big fueling station. Let us transition the sphere of influence. Come on. I figured might as well, point towards the Interplanetary Duna ship, just to be on the safe side. Yeah. Okay, changing the Kerbin SOI, and bam. Do we have an encounter with Duna? Yes, we do. Awesome. Let's see if we can add another maneuver node somewhere along these lines. I honestly don't care where, as long as it's on the right orbit. Come on. It's sometimes so damn hard to find the correct orbit. Come on, please. Oh well. You know what? Let us rather take a look at the interplanetary ship. Transition the sphere of influence, and with this one we have to also fix our orbit. So here I don't care that much about the SOI change. Come on. Come on. Okay, close enough. Now let's set up a maneuver node and just see what do we need to do in order to get an encounter. A little bit radial, and that's it. 20 meters per second, not a whole lot. So let us just quickly position ourselves. I'm just making sure that I get the ideal or the best approach that I can get given the circumstances. Screenshot. And yeah, let's turn the the interplanetary craft towards that direction. Perfect. And let us time accelerate until the maneuver node, at which point we will be kicking the gas. Come on, just align slightly a little bit more. Come on, and okay, 20 seconds to burn, and we should kick the gas right away. Perfect. And let's see. Ooh, and there it is. Coming. And oh, and we even have the Ike encounter. Well, I'm thinking that might be convenient, because if we pass in front of Ike, we will actually be slowing down in the Duna orbit. So that's something definitely worth considering. So we can kill the we can definitely kill the maneuver node or the transfer for Duna. And there is one more thing. If you remember, we had a fuel tanker which for some reason didn't work for me. I have since then tested it, and I have seen that the problem lies with the fact that if I detach and attach the engine, it all of a sudden works. So I refuse to accept the state in which it was before. So that means that I will be launching the IP fuel transporter, and I'll actually hyper edit it in the orbit around Kerbin. So sorry guys if you think it's cheaty. I don't think it's cheaty, because I already launched the guy in the orbit itself. So it's just a matter of transitioning to Duna. So yeah. And this is the guy. As you can see now, I have only put it as it's supposed to be, only the payload, and I'm actually doing the hyper edit. I had to install it for this purpose. I didn't have it normally installed, so it was very hard for me to find the version which worked with 0.90. And obviously dang, it already paid its compliments with killing one of my 3 batteries. Thank you for that. So yeah, just making sure that I open up my communications dish. Perfect. And I guess that's it. Battery short-circuited. Yeah, sure it did. Whatever. Targeting Duna and planning our ejection burn. Now a little bit fiddling to get everything just right. It's already close enough, because we are within the time frame where Duna was supposed to happen. So let's just see, earlier or later, and we already have a Duna encounter. Beautiful. So let us just now align that we go as close as possible to it. Come on. Yeah, here is good, here is good. Okay, and I guess I will be fixing these later. I think it's okay. More or less. Well, it's definitely something that I can live with. Cool. Okay, so that solves the problem of setting up the maneuver node. Estimated burn time should be 55 seconds. We have pretty decent thrust to weight. We'll see once again how long does it take. Shouldn't be too long, and it's supposed to happen in 27 minutes. So 1 orbit from now. How about we take that orbit, add 50 times acceleration. I really like these big nuke engines. They are really helpful, to say the least. Activating the engine, and as you can see, it has 3.2 thousand of delta V, which is actually more likely. So yeah. Okay, so 4 minutes 7 seconds, node in 2 minutes 37. So a total burn time will be 4 minutes and 7 seconds, because after all it's a nuke engine. It's not really that great on the thrust to weight like some other standard chemical rockets. So yeah, that's something we clearly need to take into account. burning. Was a beautiful opportunity for a screenshot. Maybe probably even the title screenshot for the episode. We'll think about it for sure. Well, at least I think we had cooler ships burning, so yeah, I think I'm gonna take the screenshot of the Duna IP ship after all. But it is a pretty screenshot, I'll give it that. So, 650 more to burn. It is a little bit longish burn, but actually, given the view, I don't mind it whatsoever. So, 500 meters per second to burn. Like I said, this is like 2.5-3 times acceleration, so for you guys it lasts only a minute. For me it lasted like 4 and something minutes. And ejecting, just returning my precise node back in its place because I like it over there. 150 meters per second to go. We are nicely extending our apoapsis, that's for sure. So 50 more meters per second, and now we're coming into the fiddly territory, so we have to be a little bit careful when it comes in terms of positioning. 4, 3, 2, ooh, and there we are. Perfect. I'm actually very happy with that one. Great. That takes care of business for this one. So I was thinking just instead of launching a flotilla, I would be launching one big interplanetary ship, and then it turns out I'm launching that one plus a flotilla. So here I had just one thing that I needed fixing, and that was the fact that I wanted to communicate back to Kerbin medium range comsat as opposed to the Duna Interplanetary ship, because Duna Interplanetary ship wasn't pointing back at me. So I figured while I'm still in the comms range, I wanted to change my target. I mean, it's easily fixable that I open up an antenna on the Duna IP ship and just point it to this one, and that would work probably. Oh, beautiful screenshot of leaving Kerbin behind. I think now it will be much easier using remote tech ships once we will be around Duna orbit, because we will have a command center there at least for some point of time. So that's definitely a good thing to consider. And Kerbin going back in the distance, so yeah. Okay, that being said, I have one more thing that I wanted to build actually, guys, and that was we have uncovered the mysteries of the Karbonite. So as we uncovered the mysteries of the Karbonite, I really wanted to learn in terms of how that we can use that fuel. So and this is the reason why I actually constructed the Duna refueling station and the fuel tanks that are going there. They are full of fuel, but they'll run out. So the next thing to do was actually to create a ship that's like a refinery ship, which would be able to collect collect carbonite, mine it from the surface, convert it to liquid fuel and oxidizer, and then fly up to the atmosphere and hopefully refuel of what's left in the tanks. So this is my attempt of building such a converter ship. So that is like the last piece of the puzzle for the Duna self-sustainability. The station that's en route there should hopefully be self-sustainable. Probably need some machine parts or something, but other than that, no. Then we have the fuel tanks, then we have the orbital station that can recycle its own things, and that only leaves the fuel part that needs to be mined and obtained, and this guy is actually the guy to do it. Assuming that it has 2 rocket motors. However, Duna is very far away, and testing the unproven technology yet takes some time, so rather than doing that, I have opted instead to test it on Minmus. As you know, we have deployed the Karbonite scanner in the orbit around Minmus a few episodes ago, which means we know where Karbonite is, which means we can mine it. So, just putting some landing lights, 4 landing lights, which is great. So let's call it Utility Karbonite Miner Mark 1. Save. And but these big drills and Karbonite tanks and converters are power hungry, so we need something that will generate a hefty amount of power. So with that in mind, I'm actually taking 2 of the RTGs, 1 on each side, and they're pretty, beefy when it comes to amount that they can produce. However, we still need an SAS, and I will still put some solar panels just to be on the safe side. Okay, and I also want this guy to be dockable, which means it has to be well aligned with with RCS build date. So I'm now looking for ideal placement for the thrusters. I think I will keep them there, 4 of them in total. Come on, here. Yeah, I guess I'll keep them somewhere around there. Might not be the most logical place graphics wise, but I guess it makes sense. Okay. Okay, fine. So let's see under which fairing we can put this guy. I think it's too big to fit under any fairing. This is like 5-meter fairing. So I'm thinking I won't go with a fairing. It is more or less aerodynamic, so I think we'll go with as is. So let's put a big decoupler underneath, and let's see if we manage to put that one, 2.5 meter decoupler, and let's put some big ass fuel tank underneath and hope that should be sufficient. So, not 125, 2.5 meters tank, and let's see how much delta V will it have. I mean, we're going only to Minmus, so I don't need a whole lot of delta V. 4.938, and thrust weight on Minmus would be, on the Kerbin is 0.80, so let's just put like this, and 5.999. I mean, it's definitely enough to get to Minmus. So I won't even bother with adding more. I mean, I don't care if I land on Minmus, with a bingo tank almost completely empty, or, yeah, but I do care if I don't land but crash because I ran out of fuel. So 5583, that's, in my calculations, that's more than enough to get to Minmus, so I'm just gonna go stick with it. But I'm now adding some solar panels, which we will definitely need. And I want the ones that are generating lots of power, and I want 4 of them. So yeah, let's put them just on an action group. I usually put the solar panels on 2. Perfect. And antennas. I want the Communotron. Okay, perfect. And the medium range ones also. I mean, we do have a good relay network, but I still prefer, if I can do direct communication, I'll do it. So I won't even test it, I'll just build the vessel and be on my merry way. Anyway guys, I think this will be it for this episode. Like if you like the episode. Thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.